Orisha is a religion which came to us from West Africa. It is more widely practiced in Trinidad and Tobago than we imagine and has a lot to offer. Recently, Gael took a trip to Marabella where we spoke to Iya Orisha, who is a high priestess of the religion, and Dr. Maureen Warner-Lewis, who is a researcher in African studies.
Something about its retention here in Trinidad and Tobago. How strong is it in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, there's evidence that it has existed here since the last century. I don't know if it existed before that, but there's evidence that there was a fairly significant influx of Yoruba people to Trinidad in the 19th century. Several of them, many of them after emancipation. And this would account for the strength of the religion still here in Trinidad. In other words, it is fairly recent. It has been strong throughout the years, but it has existed as a subterranean kind of religion because of its non-Christian nature and the fortunes or misfortunes of an African religion in a colonial society.
But there are Christian
elements in it,
in
yes, because many of the Africans, because of contact in a Creole society, were either compelled to or willingly became Christians because they saw that it was helpful to them socially and otherwise to do so. What I've seen here represents to my mind a very traditional. It would appear that the ceremony attempts to stick very much to certain traditional ritual practices. For instance, I noticed the emphasis on libations. There was a lot of libation of olive oil and water and perfume, etc. The possession is a very significant event. It implies that a deity, a spiritual force, has taken hold of the body of a human being. And this is one of the senses in which the Bible says, and God was made man. So that in these rituals, God and God's deities, aspects of the supreme deity, take hold of the human frame, and these humans become God.
How did you get into Orisha? How did you get involved in religion?
Well, at least power start taking me.
What do you mean by that, power taking you?
Well, it's what we call it power. I was getting a manifestation then, getting out of myself. And as far as I knew, my grandmother sent me with some Yoruba people when they was having a ball.
What part of Trinidad was that?
Up at Basta Hall.
Basta Hall?
Basta Hall, Cuba. And after, when the drums start beating, I get out of my senses then, I have to call it.
Yeah.
And I realized, you see that, I fall with Shango.
How old were you at that time?
8 years.
8 years old.
That was 1922.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, still up in the Gael, more Orisha and Ramlila.
Was your mother into into the religion?
She was afraid of it because in those days they saying it's devil.
She was one who said it was devil.
Well, she wanted to beat it out on the head and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But she never get a chance.
What about your father? Was he?
They all, you know how it is with them. And they'll hide me away all about miles away, and when the drums beating, and like I would be hearing it just next door. And I think one night they had a truck with me from Vancouver to Pastor Hall, and I think that closed them up for that.
You are what you call yourself now? You are a priestess,
Yes.
high priestess.
Yes, I hope to call it because
what do you go through to become a?
Well, he initiated me by listening me, sing bearing me,
By doing what?
sing bearing, they give you marks, right? And they do soon you. And well, it was more than once. You know, from stage to stage until.
What could you describe some of the stages that you?
You see how these things you just really have to practice it to know, yes.
This feast here tonight. What is this? What is the significance of it?
Now this is my annual feast. This is the feast that Panisa always put me on. Put me on a full moon feast.
This is the full moon.
This is the full moon feast because full moon was Sunday. Put up my flags Sunday morning.
So when it starts it would start on Sunday.
It starts Sunday.
Yes.
Right, we had prayers.
Yeah.
Put up the flags, and we had prayers Sunday night, and Monday morning I offer for Anthony. Though we have, when you offer an forfeit animal according to Panisa's teaching, you offer him, Rumale, and Mwanja on a Monday. So I offered for the both of them. If you are not given a forfeit animal, you can offer on a Tuesday.
What do you think the Orisha religion has to say to Trinidad today, has to offer Trinidad today?
Well, at least I feel it have a lot. If our people would just try to get ourselves together. Orisha work should be, our people should have love. The thing that gets us apart, no love. You know, we should have love and unite together. Because it's everybody is one. Right? So I believe in love, love, love.
Another value I think is purely cultural, I would say, in that we have here a wonderful form of drama and theater involving music and dance and song and speech, etc., and plus ritual action. And I think that this forms a very good, it's a very good format for the kind of drama that we would like to see, that we in the Caribbean and I think in the New World and in the Third World are interested in reproducing on our stage. I'm not necessarily talking here of Orisha being itself on stage, but providing a kind of format, a kind of metaphor for what could be on stage.